All right, we were kicking off the ride kind of later on in the ride, but it's about 9:30. Okay, let's be honest, it's 9:40, 9:45. I don't know what time it is in the morning. Gorgeous Friday morning commute. It's like 65 degrees. Don't kill me, please. Illegal U-turns, the kind of thing that will kill cyclists. Look at that shit. And already, wow, Frito-Lay bike parking, or sorry, car parking outside the bike lane on point. Nicely done. 3 points for you. We have a thing where we give our son points for doing good things. It's a reward system. I feel like drivers should also get rewarded for doing, you know, the most basic things that they're expected to do. You know, don't do anything illegal and you get points. Do something illegal and you can fight those tickets. Fight the parking tickets. Oh, this guy, oh, there's nobody in there. So negative 3 points for you. You lose points. So here's a kind of a funky job. They got a Verizon truck, not inside, not outside the bike lane. Nobody inside. The van, and of course the obligatory cone that serves really no purpose, doesn't really help anybody, just lets drivers know that indeed there is a vehicle, because it's like placed in the back left wheel, which makes no sense. It's not placed in a way that's like easy for a cyclist to get around or anybody to walk around it. It's like an awareness cone. Oh, that's great. A stop sign is busted. So back there's a stop sign and it's literally lying on the ground. All right, we're pulling up to Riverside Drive, and hey, hello cop, 7754. Nodded, said hello. She looked at me and she smiled. I'll take it as a smile. She just nodded. That's all she did. I think to say, not today. You won't be ticketing me today. Maybe tomorrow. When, oh, look at that. Is that a Lamborghini? Or Ferrari? I think that's a Maserati. That is a Maserati parked on Riverside Drive and 106th Street, I think. Is that right? Yeah, 106th and Riverside Drive, where there is free parking for your Maserati if you have 200 and whatever $1,000 and you don't have an extra couple bucks for parking your vehicle. You can always park it for free on the streets of New York, where the DOT provides you with 4 million free parking spots. Free parking spots. I think it's 3 million. 3 million free curbside parking, which basically means they're free. I mean, some of them I think like 0.1% are metered, but they are free. They're basically free. That's kind of one of the most impressive things, you know. You've got all this money, you can flaunt your car, but you're gonna street park it because it's free parking. Like, in what world is that? Like, okay. You see that. You actually see that fairly frequently. I think, you know, most cars don't stand out like a Maserati or a Lamborghini or something like that, but many of these cars that you see on the street, the value of these cars, they are expensive cars. You see tons of, like, you know, German cars, all the expensive stuff. I don't really know that much about cars, but I know that like a Mercedes is expensive. You know, I know that a Lexus and an Audi and all those kinds of cars. Many of these are SUVs. I think the list price is probably $50,000 for most of them and more, right? And so you got to wonder, like, okay, you're paying however much per month, leasing it, maybe you bought it, I don't know. They all look new. Like, tons of these cars look new to me. And I get it, if you're like, oh no, it's a jalopy, it's like 10 years old, 15, whatever. and I don't plan on getting a new one. I don't even maintain it. The oil light has been on for 6 years and I've ignored it this far, and I'm never gonna spend a dime. I'm just gonna street park and I don't give a shit. Fine. But those people are kind of the minority, I think, when you actually price out the kinds of cars you see typically on the streets. Here we got a nice cloudy day. Oh, it is a nice day. It is a bit cloudy, overcast. I think it's gonna rain in a few hours. I am once again not equipped for rain. I have not learned my lesson. The last time was, I think, 2 weeks ago. I went out on a Friday, actually at the same time, on a Friday a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I am gonna ride into work. I went out, I thought it was just drizzling. It was raining. It was definitely like full on raining. And I figured, whatever, I'll deal with it. I'm not made of sugar. That's what they say in Dutch. When you are nervous about going out in rain, you're not made of sugar. And but I got soaked, so so yeah, that's true. But it was an uncomfortable ride, not gonna lie. I was shorts and a t-shirt, totally soaked. It was not drizzling. It was definitely full-on raining. It wasn't pouring. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn my lesson from this. Maybe I'll get myself a little bit of rain gear, like, you know, maybe a jacket or something that is somewhat waterproof, water resistant, not a cotton t-shirt. Guess what? I am wearing a cotton t-shirt with pants that are really good at absorbing rainwater. So we'll see if I ride home tonight. But it is great to be in a place where you have options, right? So I'm riding, and then if it rains or it's pouring or it gets really cold or whatever, I stay late, I'm tired, I can just take the subway back. With a fully functional transit system, you have choice. And when you have choices as to how you can get to and from places and wherever around the city, there is massive economic value in that, you know? Not just convenience for people, but like just having that kind of choice makes a city like super valuable, rather than, you know, certain cities that are entirely car-centric. They have virtually zero public transit options. You have to have a car to get around. You can't even ride a bike. Everything's a highway. Not to mention, just like, it looks ugly, and there's all kind of, you know, it's basically the streets, or more like highways. You don't have kind of nooks and interesting little areas where you can like walk. You know, cities designed like that. But in places where you have that choice, it's super valuable. I'm not gonna lie. One of the best things about New York is I could take a bus if I feel like it. Sometimes I've been on a bus when going 50 blocks. I'm the only person on the bus. Maybe not the most efficient system for the MTA, probably kind of expensive to run a bus like that, but it's like a taxi, you know. Nobody's waiting, nobody's on the bus to get off, and nobody's waiting at any of the stops, and you just sort of fly up. That's pretty rare. Most of the time it's just sort of crowded and very, very slow. Only it's not slow because of the bus, it's slow because of other cars and traffic. It's another thing. People say the bus is slow. The bus is slow. The bus is not slow. The streets are clogged with cars. And the streets are clogged with cars. You could say that about the bus. That makes, so private drivers and taxis and trucks and double parking makes it really, really slow for a bus. Yeah, a bus can't drive through that crap. It wants to, everybody wants to, but that would be illegal. That would be dangerous if they just put on a like a plow in the front and just did a little car plow through traffic and crap in the few dedicated bus lanes. And where there are real bus lanes that are separated from regular crappy traffic, the way that a train would, you would never allow like private people with train cars to just like ride on the Amtrak trains, rails, you know, because they're just there, so everybody will just hop on in. No, of course not. You have dedicated pathways for them that are actually separated in a way that does not allow private drivers to get in. And then buses go really, really fast. And there are so many examples of this, but it's like such obvious physics, it's obvious like policy, and it's technically very feasible and very easy, but politically apparently impossible because people suck. The worst thing that we have is people in the way of progress, not technology. So that's what kind of irks me. We want dedicated bus lanes as well. Then of course you have the subway. And the subway is great. If you want to ride on something that's 100 years old, it's great. No, it's, look, for all its faults, it's pretty amazing. I haven't been riding it too frequently right now, but look, I gotta say, I mean, once it's gotten on everybody's radar and everybody's been bitching about it for like years now, and it's gotten on Cuomo's radar and mayor, and everybody is sort of focused on this. People are really tuned in, and there is real work being done. And you know, let's not forget that the congestion pricing, like one of the top reasons for congestion pricing was actually just to raise capital. I think $1 billion a year would be what they collect from the proposed congestion pricing TBD, but that $1 billion lets them, I forget, it pays, you know, the interest for a loan, you know, for a capital loan or whatever it's called, bonds or something, and it pays it off for like a $20 billion loan. So we can actually get started on much, much larger, big, ambitious sort of projects that we simply don't have the cash for right now. And that was one of the arguments for why congestion pricing like really needed to pass. It was all based on the MTA and like cash-strapped MTA, which is you know, bloated bureaucracy that gets nothing done. But fine, they need money. Let them have some money. But like missing from a lot of this debate is what hopefully will be realized, which is, you know, a 10% reduction in the number of cars that are on the road. Like just straight up, even tiny numbers. Really small percent of reduced cars can have dramatic changes in the speed and the flow of car traffic through the same roads without any modifications. And so what you then have is reclaiming some of that space. You have faster roadways and just fewer cars in general, in ways that will become noticeable to a lot of people. Buses will get faster, right? Taxis will get faster. They can do more fares in faster times. Do more pickups. I mean, the list is like endless. Trucks can do deliveries more efficiently. They're not waiting on a bridge and whatever, or waiting in traffic for forever. All those benefits, I think, have been stated by other, you know, some research. Streets blog covers that, but I think that was kind of secondary to the capital value of it. So anyway, I'm gonna try to make some jokes here. Not that funny, but I think I'm funny. So I noticed that my GoPro is cockeyed. I think I mentioned this, but I was looking at it and it's still a little cockeyed. It's because it's like, I use one of the GoPro mounts that is sort of like a sticky, and it's very, I mean, it's adhesive, sorry, not sticky. No. But it's like slightly off, and it's hard to modify. I think it's just kind of wobbles around a little bit. So it's not ideal. I think I'm gonna maybe invest in one that's more of like a tripod that comes out of the top of the helmet through the hole. So it's a little more stable and sort of straight. Oh, that's funky. Those funky bikes with the really, really wide handlebars are always kind of interesting to me. It's like you wanna, I mean, maybe it's like just an aggressive position and it's more fun to ride and it's like a different style, but like as opposed to this one when the handlebars are really tight and narrow. But the really wide handlebars are funny because you're like, okay, but you're gonna have trouble like getting through any kind of narrow spaces, sort of. And it's like easy to then accidentally hit something and then have your handlebar just like flip out under you, you know, and flip around if you even tap something. But you know, whatever. It's a two-wheel active mode of transportation, so I am in favor. So here we're on the West Side Highway. Again, just lined up with these buses. They're just sitting here. Parks enforcement. Probably just hanging out. Oh, that's cool. Oh, 52nd Street crosstown protected bike lane going up. See a little green paint. Spot a little green paint over there. That is pretty cool. I knew that this is a major, you know, one of the, I think it'll become the second set of protected crosstown bike lanes in Manhattan. First set went up at on 26th Street and 29th Street, which is where I ride every day. After Dan Hanningby was killed by a speeding illegal bus driver, illegal bus. Buses never allowed on those side streets. 26th Street is not even a legal route for buses, but they all do it anyway. He was killed. The video is horrific, and then within a year, I think, we got a protected bike lane. And this is kind of what I was saying. And a lot of people have said this, but that Vision Zero is largely built on death. That you largely, right, he died. He didn't have to die. We could have been proactive. They said, like, we knew these were routes that tons of cyclists use. We know that protected bike lanes just reduce fatality and injury by like really large percents. And then you do nothing. They drag their feet. DOT does nothing. And then all of a sudden, a death. High profile, mayor steps in, yada yada, and then they're able to then push through an actual project. But it took a life. And that's just, you know, that's like such an awful precedent. And that is literally what's happening in these other places. You have the death of the Australian tourist that triggered the Central Park West protected bike lane to go north, you know. That happened, and right away the community board said, DOT, I want you to investigate and create a plan for a protected bike lane going all the way north. Like, we want a two-way protected bike lane. See what you can do. A year later, they came back. I don't know why it takes a year. They came back, presented it. It passed by a very large margin, even though a bunch of nincompoops from the condo board like filed lawsuits and all kinds of crap. And I was at the meeting. It's really stupid. And then the same thing is happening on 52nd Street. And finally, these things are being built, which is great. They just should not take death to get action like this. It just shouldn't. You know, this is very, very predictable kind of fatality. You know, this is all predictable. We know next year, no matter what we do right now, there's probably going to be 10 cycling deaths. We know just based on every year that there's probably going to be 50 pedestrian fatalities. probably more, right? And this is awful. But we know how to fix this stuff. We know what street designs significantly improved those statistics. And it's crazy that like it takes this kind of, you know, just death and despair and all the activism that comes along with that, right? Where you have transportation alternatives doing memorial rides and, you know, and picketing in front of these idiots who are doing these lawsuits to block like the busway and whatever, things like that. And it's crazy because this should not be political, and it should not require this much effort. I mean, it does, but it's only because the city is just so backwards and bureaucratic and like car-centric. And yeah, anyway, I don't know how entertaining this kind of talking is. This could be a very short-lived episode, or a short-lived podcast, or not even sure what to call this. But just me getting my shit on. Oh, she's jamming. Just getting my thoughts off my chest. It's Jeff's thoughts inside Jeff's head. I talk to myself here, and there are cops over here. I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure. Typically over here on the west side greenway, you see, you know, we passed a couple of these parked vehicles, and right, they're four-wheel vehicles. They're basically golf carts, and whatever, they have equipment, they got work to do, and they're driving through here. But I don't get why they don't try. I mean, I often look at what they're actually carrying, like what is it? And I don't get why they can't just put that into cargo bikes, like, you know, larger, like three-wheel style cargo bikes that are relatively easy to ride. They're a little more active. You can put, you know, with an electric motor and everything, where it's pedal assist, and actually like fit the style of this path. So here's one. So right, you got, okay, super narrow. It's electric. 1,500 pound maximum capacity. That space on the back there, I think that's not like very doable, extremely doable for a bicycle. Obviously a large bicycle. These are what we call like last mile bikes, like UPS is using them. Oh shit, let me try to make this light. These lights are so fucking horrendous. And there's a cop just sitting in the middle here. Thank you, cop. You're literally in the fucking way. This person's texting HDS 2104. This lift is coming at, oh, this is fun. Let's count the oversized vehicles in the bike lane. One oversized vehicle in the bike lane. Two, 3, 4, New Jersey. 5, 6 vehicles in the bike lane. And then, I don't know, 15 that are illegally parked. All 3 of these guys are parked with fucking placards, with these bullshit placards. And they're in the buffer. They're in the lined buffer over here. And that's illegal. It's illegal parking. And they all just get away with it. And the city doesn't do anything. And so it signals to everybody on down, we don't enforce. Do whatever you want. If you have a car, you may park it almost anywhere. Well, anywhere. Not almost anywhere. park it anywhere. And this is what I love to see. This virtue. This I don't know what that's called. Cargo bike, tricycle, a trike. Super cool. I think I've seen the mom park it before, and you know that it's just a magical piece of machinery, right? You're like, oh, this is super easy. To go a mile, I ride for 5 minutes, and I don't have to think about any of this stuff. Giant wide lanes. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. I think, what is it? 7 lanes. Right now, I get like, okay, 2 of them are like parking, but there's 6 lanes. I don't know what it is on, what is that, 9th Avenue. Massive, super wide highways, and just, you could put gorgeous bike boulevards through that, right? And turn these really, really wide, uncomfortable sort of streets that, with these little narrow sidewalks on the side, and turn them into real walkable areas. They're obviously walkable now, there's obviously demand, but you need a little bit of political will. Oh boy, this is some wind. This is a wind. The indignity of walking a stroller. I've done this a million times, and it's like literally when there's like a pole just in the middle of a really narrow, tiny sidewalk, and you're like, God damn it, guys. Look at the size of these streets. You have enough room for, 15 feet wide, like trailers of flatbed equipment and sand and a truck to go through, but you don't have room for two moms with strollers to walk side by side and talk to each other, God forbid. All right, I'm over and out. Thanks for listening, like and subscribe.